What is up, folks? We're getting ready to start a new project. We have some space restraints that we have to stay within. The goal for this buggy is I want it to fit in the bed of my truck. Now, the maximum width it can be is 60 inches. The maximum length it can be is 78 inches. So that shouldn't be all that hard to achieve. But what we're doing here is we're going to try to reuse these trailing arms that I built for a different project several years ago. And they use these type 1 VW CV axles. Now, these axles don't have a whole lot of angle. Like, you're not going to get a ton of travel out of them. But this is a kid's buggy, and we don't need a lot. My goal really right now is shooting for 10 inches of travel in the rear. That should be relatively easy to achieve with these axles. As a matter of fact, I think we might have had more than that with this setup in the years ago. But that's all we need is 10. So in a minute, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do for tires and wheels, hubs and all of that. I have an old clapped out Warrior sitting outside that we're going to use. And we're going to take the axles off of that Warrior and we're going to turn them into stub axles. This disc, I machined a recess in this disc and I drilled the bolt holes to match these CV patterns. And we're gonna cut those axles off, machine them down, weld a disc like this on the end of them, and turn those axles into stub axles. Now, I also have the same bolt pattern machined into this disc, and then I have it bolted to this brake disc off an old motorcycle. I don't even know what motorcycle it was anymore. But that's our brake disc. I'll have to get a sprocket. I'll have to take the sprocket off out there, off of that four-wheeler, and machine the same recess in it and drill these bolt holes in it. And that'll be our rear drive line. The problem is staying within 60 inches is that these axles take up, I think my minimum is going to be 45 inches between these faces here of these bearing carriers. That's why it's going to be a bit of a struggle to stay within that 60-inch mark. Okay, now I've shown you these stub axles and trailing arms. Let's talk about the engine. So we're going to power this little kid's buggy with a Duromax 18 horse. They say it's 18 horse, but I don't believe that. I think it's probably closer to a 15 or 16 horse engine. We're probably gonna do a stage 1 kit on this. I don't think that's gonna gain us a whole lot of horsepower, if any at all. Maybe if any, probably none. But we're gonna do the stage 1 kit on it anyways. And I also have a 40 series torque converter we're going to be running on this. So we got the backing plate here, and we got the torque converter and all that jazz. And I'm just showing this to you for just to show it to you. I'm not going to install any of this right now. I think that if you watch to the end of this video, you'll see that you'll see the buggy. I've already got most of it designed in Bentech. So if you watch to the end, I'll show you some video of that and what it's going to look like. What I had to do here today was get some measurements to see how much space this engine was going to take up before I could finish designing the rear of the car. And I had thought that I would allow for, I need a minimum of 21 inches to allow for the distance of the trailing arms and the CV axles. So this is only going to be about 20 inches, so we got plenty of room. Plenty of room behind the seat. We might have to mount this a little bit forward, but it's still going to be plenty of room. So, like I said, keep watching, and I'll show you some video of the frame. In Bentech, they say right now, the way I have it setting right now, that the frame only weighs 100 pounds. I don't know how accurate that is, but if that's true, by the time you get the tires and wheels mounted, seat, whatever else in it, you know, you're probably going to be looking at a 350, 400 pound cart with this 18 horse engine in it. And that should make it go like green grass through a greased goose. So keep watching, and we got some other stuff we're going to work on here. I'm going to show you this clapped out ATV here in a minute too. So another part of this build is a friend of mine, Chris, thank you Chris, gave me this clapped out Warrior. And I don't know much about it other than it's missing a whole lot of pieces. But it has good suspension. It has good tires and wheels. Well, not that one, but these are really nice hole shots. It's got some nice aluminum ITPs. And we're gonna try to utilize as much of this as we can in this build. So right now, what I'm trying to figure out is how much of an offset these wheels have. So it kind of gives me an idea of how wide to mount my semi-trailing arms in the frame. And I'm going to say that's 6 inches to the outside of the tire. But what my plan is to cut these axles off back here somewhere. And then I'm going to machine them down till they fit into a 1 inch sealed bearing. A 1 inch diameter sealed bearing. And those will be my stub axles, because they already have the mounting points on the end of them for the hubs. And then for the front, we're just going to use the hubs, tires and wheels, brake calipers and all that. And we're going to make our own spindles. We're going to machine spindles to fit these bearings. That's the goal. Let's see if we can make it happen. Okay, so now I know about how much room I need to mount this thing with the torque converter. I still don't have any idea how to mount the torque converter, but details. We'll figure it out. Anyway, now I can finish designing the rear end of the frame, the chassis, because I had to kind of stop working on that until I had this figured out. And I'm pretty sure that I'll be able to stay under my 60-inch mark on the rear. The front shouldn't be a problem. So now all I got to do is get back to designing the frame. So I'll show you a couple pictures of it here in a minute. Okay, here it is. This is basically the finished product. I think it has pretty good shape. It's, I think, about the widest point here, about 36 inches wide. It's about 36 inches tall at the highest point. 78 inches long. I did finalize the rear end here, make it kind of give it a little shape from the rear. Should have plenty of room for mounting the engine. I think we can narrow the front end up a little bit more. It's a little square. We can refine that a little bit and round it off a little bit more. Move these bars in a little closer to the center line. That'll move our mounting points for our A-arms in a little bit. Keep the front end plenty narrow. Right now it's showing that it weighs 114 pounds. We still got to put the bars in for the seat. Probably might add some more bars up here for the steering column and things like that. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Y'all tell me what you think about it in the comments. So that's where we're at on the design phase. This is going to be part 1 of the series. Hopefully I can finish designing this thing up here in the next day or two and start bending some tube, and when I see you guys again, we'll have some steel on the table and maybe have some tubes bent and starting to make it look like something. If you're interested in this project, or you're interested in anything that I'm doing, just give me a subscribe and a like, and tell me in the comments. If you think I'm an idiot, tell me. I don't care. It's fine. But anyway, that's where we're at, and hopefully here in the next several weeks we'll have us a nice little kids buggy going. Well, we'll see you in the next video.